You're tuned into Visions, a business and community affairs program designed to encourage and promote entrepreneurship in Central Alabama.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Vision. Cedric Vaughn, very excited about our guest. We're going to talk about health and wellness today. I'm going to talk to Robert Jackson, who is the president of One Humanity, LLC. Mr. Jackson, thanks for being with us on the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burnham. Thank you.
Of course, you and I have been knowing each other for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
And so glad to have the opportunity to talk with you about this latest project that you are working on, and you've actually got a symposium that you're going to be doing. And so on your information that you sent, you said that One Humanity LLC is about positive social change through education and economic development.
That is correct. And to that end, we have initiated a venture, if you will, that is really nationwide. We are trying to understand and address health disparities and come up with a collection of information that we can distribute nationwide that includes not only research on health disparities, but also plans, innovative approaches to addressing health disparities. And what better place to start everything off than right here in good old Alabama.
That's right, that's right, that's right. The capital city, and right here, Montgomery, Alabama. Now, the title of your session is going to be called what?
It's going to be called Developing a Faith-Based and Community-Based Plan to Address Health Disparities. Okay. Now that's important. The faith-based and community-based components are very important to us. There's already a lot of information, a lot of work going on where clinical people are doing some great work. Educators, professional folks, professional research groups are doing some great work. But those are just two perspectives, if you will. They're good perspectives and necessary perspectives. But the faith-based perspective, where people are able to reach large numbers of people and also point out the fact that health disparities are everybody's business. We have to be fair, and we have to be right, and we have to be helpful of other human beings. And the group that has always taken forth the mission of trying to help others have been faith-based groups.
That's good. Faith-based
leaders have always championed those causes. The community-based groups are very well embedded throughout the communities, and they have a huge circle of influence. Each one of them do. So we want not only the professional people, the clinicians, the social workers, and the others, the typical others who do good work, but we also want the faith-based leaders and the faith-based individuals to come forward and put their perspective into a plan to address healthcare disparities.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're gonna talk about your session that you got coming up actually this weekend, which is why we want to do this right now, because we want to give you time to make it there. I'm gonna be there. We want to give you an opportunity to be there. But the topic or the word health disparities is, we know we're real simple, real basic. So I want to start with that. Okay. If you could define that for us, what the word health disparities means.
Disparities basically means differences. And when we talk about health disparities, we talk about differences in health outcomes for different groups. For the health outcomes for poor people and for racial and ethnic minorities are different than for, let's say, wealthy people and people, say, from a majority culture. Typically, the wealthier and the majority culture people have access to better quality health care, and so consequently they have a longer lifespan. They don't suffer from the diabetes and the hypertension and other diseases that affect the poorer people and the racial ethnic minorities to a much greater degree. So we want to make sure that all human beings have access and have ways and means of having the best health care possible. You shouldn't have to be wealthy to be healthy. Everyone should have access to health care. We live in a time where the scientific developments and the knowledge development and the knowledge access is right at our very fingertips. We live in a time where productivity for this nation is probably at its all-time highest. And so consequently, the solutions for people should be there for everyone, not just a select few.
That's good, that's good. That's really great. The information that you're going to be providing, I like what you said about health disparities and trying to make sure that everyone has that in the greatest country in the world. We want to be able to make sure that But now, you know, you've got some people who, you know, don't have access to the technology, but you know, smartphones. But we've even got, you know, libraries where you can go.
That's right.
And get the information.
That's
So
right.
so you want to facilitate the information that you know the general public needs.
Yes, indeed.
To address their health concerns.
And that's what we intend to do during this seminar, make sure that, first of all, people understand what are the causes of these health disparities, and also let's understand how are they maintained? Why do these disparities continue to exist? Why is it that prescription drugs, the cost of prescription drugs, can be a dilemma for some people? Because that cost alone will basically determine whether or not a person can manage some of their own health issues, or whether they can afford to even stay alive.
That's right.
Why is it that there are certain sections of the city where there are toxins, environmental threats, but certain populations always have to live around those toxins, which contribute to cancer, which contribute to other diseases and so forth.
That's good.
There are certain stresses in the environment. A person that endures stress, and it could be put downs for racial reasons, gender reasons, it could be denials, it could be poverty, it could be spousal abuse. But a person that's constantly under stress, that causes certain mental conditions to develop in the person. And it also causes certain, contributes to certain physical diseases. So the stress factor alone can contribute to disease factors. And these are the things that we want to look at and we want to understand and make sure that the people who attend the symposium will understand these things as well.
Well, now this symposium for those who want to attend is going to be actually this Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
It will be at what is called the Business Resource Center.
Yes.
In Suite 460. And give us the title once again. It is developing a faith-based, as we see on the screen, developing a faith and community-based plan to address health disparities.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and this is really produced by your company and your organization.
It is. It is. One Humanity, this is what we do. And I said, as I mentioned earlier, this is part of a national initiative that we're pulling together because there's a tremendous amount of knowledge and information out there, and we want it to come to the forefront. Yes, we do a lot of research, but we also need these planning sessions because we want to tap into the community and tap into the average citizen, if you will, and tap into the professionals to bring forth more information so that we can develop a plan, an innovative plan that we can implement right here in good old Montgomery.
Now let me ask you, as far as that plan and the strategy to do this, is there a cost?
There is a cost.
Okay, and they need to call you.
Right,
call you.
Right. Call on the cost, or you can check us out on the website to register.
Okay.
And it's affordable.
Okay.
And we have a couple of great speakers.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you.
And one of the speakers is Dr. Reuben Warren.
Okay.
Dr. Reuben Warren is one of the directors at the National Center for Bioethics Research. Okay. This is the group that has gone into action to make sure that things like the Tuskegee syphilis experiment don't happen again. Okay. Things like the Guatemalan experiment and the Australian experiment for women's health, that those kinds of things where women's rights, men's rights, human rights were just violated. And basically you had doctors, and some of these doctors were actually supported by the United States government that actually went in and actually did some pretty terrible experimentation on people and caused some serious problems. Well, we know that that can't happen anymore. Right. And we want to make sure that there are things in place to make sure that if any weird studying is going on, that there are ways that can be brought forward and addressed. Okay. We also have Dr. Deborah Lett. Okay. Dr. Deborah Lett has done some outstanding research on health, especially that pertaining to black males. Okay. Why are black men afraid to go to the doctor? Yeah. She's done some great research on that, and she's going to bring some of that forward for a group of people who probably have some of the greatest stress factors going on in our lives out there. We're probably the one group of people who probably shy away from the doctor more than any other group, even when we don't have to. Well, we need, and
that is a problem.
Exactly, and there's some reasons for that, but we need to get to the bottom of that. And
I'll be honest with you, Mr. Jackson. You know, I've been knowing you. You know, I know a lot of physicians. I don't like to go. I got to schedule it.
Well, hopefully
I'm gonna come to the seminar.
Come to the symposium. Listen what Dr. Lett has to say, and I'll make sure.
Just want to let you know. I just want to be honest. Full disclosure.
Believe me, she won't just be talking about you. I can guarantee you that.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So these are some of the speakers, and there'll be some other speakers as well who've done some great work and have developed and found some things that are very helpful to help address health disparities. And the thing about America is that as a country, there's always been a group of people that has rallied together to address major problems. When there were women's rights issues, there was a group of positive-minded and right-hearted people that came together to address women's rights issues. And it's not all, the work is not all done. When there were voting rights issues, there was a group of people that came to the forefront. Civil rights issues. There was many whites who were victimized and hurt and made sacrifices, just as there were many, many blacks and others that got involved. And when it comes to these health disparities, we are also appealing to that same mindset, that same concern for humanity. Please come out, everyone, and help us develop a plan that's going to help eradicate and address some of these health disparities. With what we have and the capabilities we have in this world from the knowledge and technology standpoints, there should be no health care issues anywhere on the planet.
Well, let me ask you, and we've got just about 2 minutes left, what is it after this session on Saturday, and it's a full day, what is the strategy from there? How do you measure the results of the plan?
Excellent point. Part of the planning session will involve developing a plan, and in that plan there will be some measurables identified. For example, one group may decide that they want to address child obesity, or someone else may want to address cancer, prostate cancer, et cetera. Well, how do you measure that? So we're going to have to set up really structured, professional research initiatives to measure the results. So this is not a one-time event. This is going to go on for probably 3 to 5 years, where we're going to have groups that will be reporting their results every 3 months. We're going to roll this feedback into a book that will be maintained, and it will be information will be released every 6 months. So this is a national effort. So we're going to have what's happening in Montgomery, where people will be able to pick up that booklet and see, well, what kind of things are they doing in Montgomery? And what are the better practices that I can find in here? What kind of things are happening in California? What kind of things are happening in New York, et cetera? So we're going to come up with a guide, a collection of better practices. It'll be based on research, but it'll also be based on these plans that the various communities are coming up with.
Excellent.
It's exciting.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Jackson, I'm going to be there. We want to encourage everyone to come. And so give us the title again, once again, as we close.
Okay. Developing a faith-based and community-based plan to address health disparities.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Jackson, I know that I want to say thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I know you're a sharp guy. You know you're one of those MBA, Six Sigma kind of guys. So you're very talented. So we want to encourage you to go out and see him. I'm going to be there, and that's going to do it for us on this segment of Visions. We look forward to seeing you this weekend, and please stay tuned. We'll be right back.